We're so excited today to have the 9th forecast by our own official state groundhog of the Commonwealth, Ms. G. All right, so I'm Renata Pomponi. I'm the Sanctuary Director here at Mass Audubon's Drumlin Farm, and this is really one of my favorite holidays of the year, as I can tell it's for many people, because of what Ms. G really represents for Mass Audubon, which is not just a chance to get out in the middle of winter and have a little fun, but to be outside and experience the nature of Massachusetts and start giving kids a chance to learn about science, to learn about climate literacy, and the importance of preserving the really amazing wildlife that we have in Massachusetts, represented by Ms. G and many other of her species. I'd like to start by just introducing a couple of our special guests today. We have Senator Mike Barrett, who I know appreciates Ms. G and the nature of Massachusetts, not just because he happened to vote for her, but also because of his leadership in sponsoring climate change carbon tax legislation for our state. We have Don McCaslin from the Blue Hill Observatory, who makes official sunshine measurements for us. Is Don around? Can you wave? He's here somewhere making his sunshine measurements. We have students from the Honeywell Elementary School in Wellesley. And under the guidance of Mish Michaels, they were our partners in the legislative process of submitting and testifying on behalf of Ms. G to achieve her official status. And we have Gary Clayton, president of Mass Audubon, as well. So I'd like to start the formal part of our presentation by reading a citation that I just received this morning from the governor's office. It is to Ms. G, the groundhog. On behalf of the citizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I am pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation in recognition of your continued encouragement of the study of meteorology in elementary schools and the importance of protecting the nature of Massachusetts for people and wildlife. Conferred this second day of February in the year 2016, Charles D. Baker, Governor. So now to get us started, I'd like to introduce Gary Clayton again, President of Mass Audubon, to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Renata. Welcome, everyone, on this lovely winter morning. You have to imagine that. We're glad you're here. Glad that we can partake in a ritual that has a lot of meaning for us, and I'm thrilled to see the number of young people here as well. It's part of, as Renata said, our work at Mass Audubon to think about how we connect people with nature. And we do this at nature centers across the Commonwealth. We have 19 nature centers. So imagine the same kind of energy and enthusiasm you see here this morning. This is what we are able to do and engage in across the state, and do it in a lot of ways that connect children and families and adults to the nature of Massachusetts. So again, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to keep my remarks short, because you never want to get in front of the groundhog, who's what this is all about today. But before we turn it over to our favorite groundhog, I also want to welcome State Senator Mike Barrett, who's with us this morning, taking a few minutes here to join us before he's off to Boston to the State House. Mike is a state senator representing Lincoln and parts of Lexington and some of the other communities in the immediate area. And as Renata mentioned, Mike has been a champion for sound environmental policy and regulation in the Commonwealth, and we're pleased that you're here today to join us. Senator Barrett.
Thank you, Gary. Thanks, folks. Appreciate it. My sympathies for those of you who are facing me and are facing into the sun. I can appreciate that this is an uncharacteristically bright day. Ordinarily, Ms. G's experience today would suggest a longer winter ahead of us. I think her skills at prognostication are now running up against the realities of climate change. It's unclear who's going to win. I'm not conceding the battle on her behalf, but she is in for a fight when it comes to her ability to, at times, tell us about prolonged winters, right? because climate change is all about the threat of shorter winters, warmer days, really the disappearance of the intensity and duration of winter as we've always known it, and as we would want our kids to know it. The legislature is doing its part because it does sense the kind of popular concern that you're here to express, right? There really is pressure on the legislature to, and in Massachusetts in particular, to move way out front. We're doing two things. We're acquiescing to the inevitability of some unexpected and I think undesired warmth in some sense. We're experiencing that this week. We do know that rising ocean levels are going to be one result, right? I don't know if any of you saw 60 Minutes this past Sunday. They were showing slices of ice calving off an iceberg in Greenland, but the slices of ice falling into the ocean were described as twice the size of Manhattan. That's why the oceans are rising. And for Massachusetts, that means that we have to figure out how to fortify facilities like Logan Airport, which would otherwise be underwater. General Electric is coming to Massachusetts. That's good news, except the Seaport District, where GE is locating, is projected to be underwater itself by the end of this century, unless we do something about it. Now, we will do something about it. We will solve these problems with your help. But the challenges are daunting for Ms. G and also for everything that winter represents. I'm working on another aspect of this puzzle, and I'll just mention it briefly and then thank you and step back. Yes, we do have to accommodate some inevitable climate change, but we also have to make sure that it doesn't advance any further. To do that, we have to put a price on carbon. We just have to price the stuff that spews out the CE2 so that it reflects the healthcare effects and the environmental effects that inevitably come with our use of the stuff. So proper pricing, honest pricing of something as simple as a gallon of gasoline can mean a lot in making sure that climate change slows its advance and is ultimately stopped. With that, I'm going to stop the advertising, but thank you for coming out today, and my thanks to Audubon, who's leading the fight in all these respects. Thank you very much.